Now, the Prime Minister's been speaking in the last few minutes. Let's listen in and hear what he had to say.
A malign actor has compromised the armed forces payment network, but I do want to reassure people that Ministry of Defence has already taken action in removing the network offline, taking it offline and making sure that people affected are supported in the right way. Now, there's a limit to what I can say about this now, but the Defence Secretary will be making a full statement to Parliament later today.
Can you just explain why you're not naming China there?
As I said, the Defence Secretary will be making a full statement to Parliament later today. And more generally, if you look back to our integrated review, I set out a very robust policy towards China, which means that we need to take the powers which we have done to protect ourselves against the risk that China and other countries pose to us. They are a country with fundamentally different values to ours. They're acting in a way that is more authoritarian at home, assertive abroad. That's why, for example, we blocked Chinese investment into a sensitive semiconductor company last year. Again, that's just one of the numerous actions that we've taken to protect this country. And recently I announced a historic increase in our defence spending to 2.5% of GDP, and I made the point that we are facing an axis of authoritarian states, including Russia, Iran, North Korea and China, which pose a risk to our values, our interests and indeed our country. And because of that, I've made a decision to increase our defence spending. That's the right thing to do for our country, and that's the type of leadership that you can expect from me.
But the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he said he's not. He says the terms of the ceasefire that Hamas have agreed to are unacceptable. Are you calling on him to take that deal?
Well, I've urged all parties to continue talking, negotiating, getting around the table, which they are doing, and we need to give them the space to conclude these negotiations. We've been consistent in saying that we want to see an immediate humanitarian pause in this conflict so that we can crucially release the hostages, get them back to their families and get more aid in to Gaza. People desperately need it, and then use that pause to build a more lasting and sustainable ceasefire. You know, that's been the efforts of all our diplomatic engagement. I've made those points to Prime Minister Netanyahu in the past and will continue to do so.
But are you condemning the bombing of Eastern Rafah overnight?
When it comes to the question of Rafah, again, I've been clear that we are deeply concerned about a full military incursion of Rafah, given the humanitarian consequences of that. I've made that point specifically to Prime Minister Netanyahu whenever I've spoken to him. And for our part in the UK, I hope people are proud of the fact that we are getting a huge amount of aid into the region. Obviously, lots more needs to get in, and that's been a focus of my conversations. But the UK is playing a leading role, getting aid in by land, sea and air, currently working with the US and other allies to build a port in Gaza to get aid in across the sea, as well as having done airdrops previously, but pushing all parties to get more land aid in as well.
Just finally on the local elections, are you concerned about there's been talk about growing sectarianism in politics, and we've seen a number of candidates standing on a pro-Gaza ticket specifically. Are you concerned about sectarianism in British politics?
Yeah, I've spoken a lot about this in the past, including from the steps of Downing Street, and I do worry that there are forces that are trying to divide our society, and that is something that we all need to be alive to and robust in standing up to as well. We have a shared set of British values that are really important to me, to government, to who we are as a people, and when a minority of people are trying to undermine those values, we shouldn't be shy about calling that out and acting robustly to defend ourselves against it. Right? I think actually this is an incredible country with an enormous amount to be proud of. There's so much that unites us, and we have to face down people who want to divide us at times like this.
Prime Minister, thank you for your time.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.
Great. Okay.
Sunak, he was asked about the China hacking and what's going on in Gaza and our position and all of that, and the local elections, the sectarianism the journalist there asked him about.